in for some reason. Not safe
We're
for
back
wonks.
again.
That's right, back in the building. Brandon Buchanan, Kennedy's here, Laua's here. The OG3 are riding back into action. So I'm at a slightly different camera angle because I'm moving stuff around in my house. I had a futon that was like from the 70s. We're talking like Union made, built Ford tough, big, huge wood slats, steel. This was not like an IKEA thing where you click a bunch of shit together and unscrew it. None of that. This is stuff that was just like welded and triple stapled, and just a nightmare. So my room is a little bit of a disaster area. Yeah.
Handcrafted.
Yeah, that's right. And now it's dead, but it had a very
Artisan futons.
No shit, really though. It had a very long run. Salute your service. But it's over. It's a wrap. Don't worry about it.
Braver than any troop, that futon.
Futon braver than any troop. Let me tell you, and like bigger.
Confirmed.
Yeah, bigger than Hulk Hogan. Braver than any troop. What a futon. Good night, sweet prince. But we're always building, we're always reinventing, we're always making the way for something new. So we're doing it.
You know, it would be nice to think that with the new sleeping situation that you're going to have, that you would be sleeping easy. But with the news, I don't think that's possible.
No, there's nothing good that can be reported on. Trump is trying to like prevent vote by mail. If your governor is a Democrat, if they're a Republican, it's okay.
Correct.
Just weird, scummy stuff from Trump. What else is new? And
there's a lot of bad stuff.
Never good stuff from Trump. Weird enough. I always say, Trump, is there any good there? I look, and then it's like, no, he's bad.
All this bad stuff. Brandon, it doesn't look like our video is on the screen.
Our video, it better be on the screen. Let me tell you.
Let me tell you something.
Oh, okay. Let's figure this out.
Might want to figure that out.
But while
it's clobbering time. There's a lot of news that we might talk about, but I really want to talk about this. I've been saying since the beginning it would be Amy Klobuchar. Well, since the beginning, but in terms of like when Biden started having to choose a VP. There's the video. Looks like you got it.
Thanks. Our beautiful faces back in the building.
Our beautiful faces back in the mix. Yeah, I've been saying it would be Amy Klobuchar, and it is now semi-confirmed that it will be Amy Klobuchar. She's being vetted for the position as we speak.
They're carefully making sure that there is nothing in her life that would appeal to regular people. If they see anything at the last minute, like she said something good in 1997, she's out. We'll get Cuomo in there, but hopefully Klobuchar can pass the vetting, pass the trials, be 100% a servant of the neoliberal establishment. She can get this sweet gig that she's been waiting on.
They have to make sure that she's done blackface.
she's got to repent by making like the best hot dishes around.
Yes. Oh my God.
I gotta let you know though. There's been so many bad things happening that my body is making me sleep like 12 hours a day and stuff. So I just woke up, and I woke up to the news that Amy Klobuchar is like semi confirmed for VP. So this is a surprise for me.
I have no sympathy for
crazy.
I have no sympathy for anyone who sleeps more than 6 hours a day. You need to if you sleep for more than 6 hours a day, check your privilege.
Yeah. It's totally not a privilege. It's like I can't wake up.
For all the things that this podcast needs,
like denying reality.
Listen, Snip.
Your body might want to deny Amy Klobuchar, but it's clobbering time.
Your mind's telling you no, but your body is telling you yes. Let me tell you, we knew it was going to be her the whole time. By the way, Lau, cut 4 hours out of your sleep schedule and just spend 4 hours improving our OBS layout. I'm just saying.
For sure, yeah.
We need to get some swag on this channel, man.
I just want to say when like establishment like neoliberal Democrats talk about choosing politicians, they talk like they're min-maxing a WoW character.
They are.
Like
they're in a fantasy world, dog.
Amy Klobuchar will provide these strengths in these key areas, and that's why she's a good pick, and it's going to be great, and it's going to help Joe Biden win. No, just adding +4 to Midwesternness, adding the skill hot dish to your character sheet is not going to make this unappealing man appeal to the average person who is not heavily invested in the Democratic Party and does not give a fuck about all this nerd shit.
They don't think in those terms. They think they have the map of the Electoral College, and if you have any nomination that's outside the box or would like appeal to a broad swath of people, they're like, yeah, but how does this help us in Michigan? And like anybody who's actually from a state can tell you, like, duh, the state next door to you does not have the same culture. If Joe Biden were to nominate like a Democratic governor of Alabama, it would not help in Florida or Georgia. They are different states. They have different cultures. Michigan and Wisconsin are two different places. So is Pennsylvania. It's a different place. Ohio's a different place. Like, it does not work that way.
Michigan and Ohio don't even like each other.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Assuming that the same shit's gonna appeal to them because they're all from the Midwest. Like, no, it's not how this actually works.
It's just goofy,
but they're all on 270 to win right now. Like, okay, here's how Joe Biden's gonna win with Amy.
If Joe Biden doesn't have enough appeal with like Midwestern centrists to become president, why did we nominate him for president? Isn't that like his rationale for like running?
Yeah, I mean, like, he's the electability guy. Like, he's the like appeals to old white boomers guy. Like, he was supposed to just already be this. Bringing Amy onto the ticket adds very little.
We talked about this in an earlier episode of the show, obviously.
Yeah. But it makes sense because Joe Biden is we're doing nothing will change, fuck you president. Like, that's been his platform. How many times has Joe Biden said, don't vote for me? Just some person just asking him like a reasonable question, like, Joe Biden, what are you gonna do about some foreign policy matter? And he's just like, don't vote for me.
Vote for Trump. You're so tough. Fuck off.
Just vote for Trump. Give up.
That's Joe Biden, and so it kind of makes sense that he would pick Amy Klobuchar, because Amy Klobuchar, we made many jokes on this show about the fact that she was also a do-nothing, fuck you, nothing's gonna change, nothing's gonna happen, just die already candidate.
We'll be expanding the negging candidate to the negging ticket. So, like, Amy Klobuchar just comes in, fuck you, you gonna vote for Trump or something? Fuck off. Biden comes in, don't talk to me or my daughter ever again. You can fuck off too. Honestly, in a way, I don't mind. Like I said,
I know you're gonna be glad.
Yeah, I just wanna check out, and Amy Klobuchar is like the signal for, like, listen, if you're on the left, check out, and that's them telling you, just leave us alone. We're gonna find votes somewhere else, which I think is great. I hope that it works out for them. I don't see that happening, but like, we've got to organize to prepare to interact with the next president, whoever it is. So whether it's Biden or if it's Trump, I mean, the same structure of organization still needs to be in place. Trump.
We're going to be fighting against either of these presidents in terms of, like, if you're a progressive and there's something that you're looking to accomplish, whether you're an activist or you're even running for office, doesn't matter. you're gonna have an administration that's hostile to you either way. That's the clear message for sure.
And I don't think Warren will be the nominee. They try to float a little bit of Elizabeth Warren. Biden's donors have already let the message be heard that she's not allowed to be that person. And I don't think Biden.
Can we talk about that though?
Have we talked about it?
No, can we talk about the fact that Elizabeth Warren, who staked her political career, arguing with Joe Biden, is sucking up to him as hard as she can. She's doing the Stacey Abrams
she's backpedaled on Medicare for All even further. She's just basically just showing her belly to Diamond Joe. It's kind of sad. It's kind of.
I think this just cements her her role as a snake. That there was nothing redeeming about Elizabeth Warren at all. That she was just 100% snake-like in nature.
Yeah,
it's just sad.
Do we want to quickly, while we're talking about Club Minimum, do we want to talk about Elizabeth Warren not endorsing Lindsey Boylan?
Yeah, let's talk about that for a second. While we're talking about Elizabeth Warren being a snake, Elizabeth Warren, if you ever needed proof that she does not believe anything that she says, and that her entire ideological persona that she projects is an act, it is her endorsing Jerry fucking Nadler over Lindsey Boylan. Lindsey Boylan is literally she is an Elizabeth Warren progressive in a lot of ways, except she actually believes in the progressive part. But if you just she's literally she's the epitome of somebody that you would think that Elizabeth Warren would support, right?
Yes. And for those who don't know, I mean, Lindsey Boylan basically ran herself right between Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders, so that no matter who came out of the primary, she could plausibly say she was all in for either of them. And yeah, just a extremely pro-Warren Democrat. So basically, her only she just didn't have the funds. Well, I know she's actually been fundraising well. By the funds, I mean she didn't raise as much as Jerry Nadler, who's the incumbent in the seat and a colleague and all other stuff. It just makes the whole thing so obvious and so funny.
Yeah, Warren makes a big deal out of Bernie supposedly telling her that a woman can't be president, but Elizabeth Warren told Lindsey Boylan that a woman can't be in Congress in New York.
It's wild. I don't, and she's been on one.
This impulse shit. If you're gonna lean into this impulse shit the way Elizabeth Warren and a lot of her supporters do,
at least do a good job.
At least stand behind that at some point.
Be consistent. Yeah.
I mean, this is also we were talking about off the air yesterday, the Jamal Bowman situation where the Black Caucus endorsed his white opponent.
Yeah, it really shows.
We know that some of these establishment Democrat fucking groups and organizations and ideologies are a joke, and they're just determined to prove that to us this week.
It shows how cynical the entire thing is, because whenever the rubber hits the road and there's any conflict between impulse shit and power, it becomes fucking Andy with the toy. I don't want to play with you anymore. It gets just dumpstered. It gets thrown away.
But 6 months from now, DSA will have DSA National will have a white chair or something, and these same people will be these progressives, look at them, they're full of it.
There will be a DSA rally with slightly more white characters as a percentage than a Marvel movie, and they'll be you pass the Disney test. Disney is diverse. Why aren't you? And it's well, Disney has financial resources to a significant degree. to cast one of each of what they like for photo ops, and activism is not exactly that. So, yeah, it's just a mess. They're clowns. It's clownish. Um, there's not much positive. Look, there's a lot of people who like Warren, but I don't. That's why I'm not totally sure at all times what you're getting out of. I don't know what you're getting out of the Elizabeth. I feel like the Warren fans arguably looked the worst during this cycle. Although there's lots of competition.
Yeah.
There's lots of competition. Kamala Harris said Colin Kaepernick was a Russian op. I find that ridiculous. Like, no, they were like, yeah, Russia's really looking for ways to sow dissent. And what did they find? Race. They found Kaepernick. I'm like, why even put those things together? Like, why even put those things together?
What did the Russians find? A real, actual problem with police brutality against black people.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Like, Russia has been using, like, the history of civil rights for propaganda reasons since the Cold War started. So if you're really interested in ending Russian propaganda, stop lynching people. And that way it couldn't be used as propaganda. Like, it's harder to use things as propaganda if you stop doing bad shit. Just the thought.
Right. Just stop being fucking awful. And then, boom.
Yeah, just like that. Things change. So,
that should be the political platform for the future. Just stop being awful.
Damn, we try. It just doesn't.
Can we run on that? You think we could run on that?
No, because we fucking lose. Because there's too many pro being awful candidates that are like, we've got to be a little awful. We'll lose to the Olympics. We'll lose to the Republicans. And somebody, so Klobuchar seems to be happening. She's going to be like our new Tim Kaine because nothing changes. And by the way, this is a hint that losing will not change the Democratic Party. I know there's lots of people who are like, oh, well, Joe Biden goes out here and eats shit, then we'll all, there will be a gap in power and there will be room for the progressives to move in and take over. No, not true. Incorrect. The same fight that you fought will be fought, and it'll be exactly the same. And the fact that these folks are losers has nothing to it won't matter. They'll just
remember. Do you remember 2017 when everybody started ramping up about this is the percentage of Bernie voters that voted for Trump, and then those numbers turned out to be false, and all that kind of stuff. It's gonna happen again. It's gonna happen again. These fucking neo-libs, they always make a big deal when the progressives actually want something. Then they're always quick to remind us that we need those centrist fucking Republican votes and that shit. But then when they lose, they don't go, oh, the centrist Republicans fucked us.
Let's never vote for them. Let's never appeal to them again.
It's just ridiculous. It's completely fucking stupid that these knuckleheads always fucking want to turn towards the progressives and be like, yes, this is the problem. I don't know. On that subject, maybe we should transition to talking about this a little. We didn't plan this, but maybe we should transition to talking about Joe Kennedy.
What's to say?
I just want to point out that, if we're going to talk about all of this, liberal hypocrisy, that, Joe Kennedy is looking likely to win that election. After all this talk of, shouldn't primary Democrats who are work in safe seats from people like Nancy Pelosi, they're all fucking on board for Joe Kennedy to get Ed Markey out of office. Ed Markey is not an incredible person. He's not oh my God, but he's good. He's one of the decent ones in Congress. We'd be better off to have him than a lot of the other people. And this whole situation is just it's just fucked up how fucking hypocritical the fucking neo-lib establishment are willing to be at this point, where it's just not one value. It's like everything that we've talked about today. Elizabeth Warren, the Jamal Bowman situation, this Joe Kennedy thing. Not one value that they claim to have actually applies except to fuck progressives ever.
Yeah, what happened to, well, this is a safe Democratic district. We've got an incumbent here. There's no chance of them losing their seat. What happened to telling challengers, well, you need to go and leave the state and find a Republican to challenge? Is that no longer a thing? It's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And the Progressive Caucus, I mean, Steny Hoyer is there. Just lots of the Democrats are fundraising with Kennedy, fundraising for Kennedy. They want some of that Kennedy name brand money. And really, this is all about the Green New Deal. His support for the Green New Deal has him in the crosshairs of his own party, and they are trying to take him out.
Yep.
So I don't know what to tell you. There's no good reason for Ted Kennedy to even be having this challenge, and I hope that Joe Kennedy gets his ass bounced off, especially because he's been running with that whole the seat is Kennedy family property. The whole there's more to this. I forget what the exact phrasing is, but there's more to this job than just the bills you vote on. And I'm like, there's actually not more to the job. There's nothing more to the job.
It's literally a job that's all paperwork.
Yeah.
There's not actually anything else.
So, yeah, and the Democrats do not have a problem with primaries. They love primaries. They do have a problem with, like, any attempt to help people in congressional candidates. So that's why they're vetting Klobuchar right now. They want to make sure that she never gave a hobo a nickel. If she did, she's out of there, and Stacey Abrams will just slide right in.
Although, I mean, I don't think Stacey's got a shot.
Of what? Being no. That she's
after the interview
brought her on TV to savage her in front of the nation.
She's literally a meme now, which is a shame.
Yeah. Have you seen that?
Is it a shame, or has she kind of just, like, I mean, all respect to what Stacey Abrams tried to do initially, but she's been selling out for, like, a while now.
Well, Stacey Abrams isn't left wing. I think if people are like, well, you're black, so you must be like super progressive. No, not true. I mean, Stacey is like, I would say like maybe like a Beto O'Rourke type politics, maybe slightly to the right of Beto, like just in that world of like, well, they're young, so the media tries to project a certain kind of politics onto them that might not exist, and especially because it will only cover like one or two pet issues that that candidate like talks about a lot. So if Beto like gun control or if Stacey voting rights, to make him seem like, whoa, they're left wing, they're talking about voting rights, and it's like, yeah, there's more to it than just that. So, yeah.
Yeah. I still think, though, she's definitely been playing an Elizabeth Warren style game.
Yes, she's been playing like, footsie.
She takes like money from like Third Way.
I mean, she's a Third Way candidate.
Like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then if she's given the opportunity to make a speech, she'll talk like she's Bernie Sanders. It's just like, it's the same kind of shit that, honestly, like I say, annoys me about Elizabeth Warren. And actually, to come back to her, I think I can kind of explain who likes Elizabeth Warren and why to some extent. It's the neolibs who, there's that type of neoliberal who thinks that their worldview is the most reasonable, progressive worldview that could exist.
Yeah.
Like, that they are in effect, just as left as any of us, right? Because what we want is unreasonable, insane person things. Like Medicare for All, which is a lifestyle brand, right? You saw that tweet.
Someone on Twitter said liberals treat progressives like Buffalo Bill treats the women on Silence of the Lambs. Like he hates them and he wants to wear their skin to become them at the same time. And I definitely feel like the libs definitely want to just gut the progressive movement and wear the skin and just like be us after we've been destroyed. Yeah, it's no good.
Well, I don't know. Anything else more to say on this terrible news day?
No, I don't. I feel like we've covered it loud. Do you have any thoughts on Warren, Abrams, Klobb, any of those folks?
I'm just still, I guess, like waking up to the fact that Klobuchar.
She's at least the finalist. We don't know whether it's official or not, but they're going to get that information.
It's not official. Just to be clear, like I do want to make it clear, like Obama vetted 4 dozen people when he was running.
Yeah, and Obama had like 5 finalists. Sebelius was a finalist. Yeah, just a list.
Do we know? Do we know anyone else?
We don't. No.
Yeah.
We don't. We know that Stacey wanted it, but Joe Biden said no to her on television. So
basically,
that's probably out. We know that Liz Warren wants it, but she's only really started gunning for it hard in the last few days, and those two have a weird history. I don't see him going for it.
No, I don't see that. And Kamala Harris seems to be interested, but we don't have all the details.
Kamala seems like probably also very high chances of being chosen.
Yeah.
Maybe Nikki Haley. I'm just making that one up.
Susan Rice has been speculated as an outside candidate, which is just very Obama. Whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know who's going to be excited by Susan Rice anywhere in the country outside of like a few newspapers. That seems like a Sergeant Shriver kind of selection. But what do I know?
Look, I'll end it on this note about Klobuchar, okay? Biden and Klobb both tell long-winded stories that lead nowhere, so that's a perfect ticket. Okay, folks? It's gonna be great.
We're gonna have an entertaining few months if it's her. I'll just say that. And look, it's already almost June. This election season is almost over, man. July, August, September, October. Like it's 4 months. The conventions are right around the corner. We'll be done with all this.
Yep.
And that's it.
All right, well,
nail it down, Kennedy.
We'll see y'all tomorrow for another one of these things right here, these streams. And we'll have, other content coming out as always. And if you want to check out patreon.com/notsafe, that's where we keep the extra special sauce.
That's right.
Not everybody knows about, but you could know about it.
That's right.
Over there right now. Lots of guys have podcasts these days now available on Patreon. Right now it's available to patrons only, but in a couple of weeks the episodes will start to unlock.
Wait,
everyone can enjoy them.
Is the new episode out?
It is.
Let's go. How was it? I mean, you were there for the...
Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
It's excellent. Love it. We covered some British guys talking, and we also covered like a women's movie podcast. And we're also going to try to record one with Circa tonight. That one will probably be out in another week. Patrons, you get it. You get access. It's all for you, Damien. It's all for you. So, that's it. Kennedy, Brandon, Lau, thank you all for watching. Have a good time. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.